Hi, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Ada Bobineau from the San Antonio Black International Film Festival, and we are continuing with our series that we've doing for the festival called "Education with Heart and Soul." So there are many parents and companies and people all over the world that are really just not pleased with the content and the images that are being projected in terms of teaching their kids. And so we featured Joel's TV, we've featured out of Chicago, we've featured Gracie's TV out of Houston, and we are going to the continent now and featuring wonderful series that I got turned on to from my granddaughters with the countings and the numbers and the ABCs from an African perspective, from an East African perspective, calling from Kenya. So I want to bring on Akili and me, which is one of my favorite YouTube series. Hi, I want to welcome Ketan Mboya. I didn't mess it up, did I?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. From Kenya, speaking to us live from Kenya. And I want to just welcome you. And I want to, you were one of the co-founders of Akili, right? Akili and me.
No, I'm not any of the founders, but I work with Akili. I'm the country manager of Akili, Ubongo International here in Kenya, here in Nairobi, Kenya. It's one of the
Okay.
countries in East Africa. Yeah.
So I want you to just kind of tell us what is Umbango, who is Umbango, what does it mean, and how did Akili and me just get started? So I know that's a lot in one, but just tell us a little bit take us on your journey of how that got started.
Okay, so our organization is called Ubongo, Ubongo International. So Ubongo is a Swahili word that means brain, yeah. So one of our founder, initially gone, she was doing her masters and she had come to her project in Tanzania, one of the countries in East Africa, and she saw the need that was there for educational content that is made by African people for the African children. So that was she decided to partner up with one of the other founder, who was also is a Tanzanian, who was also struggling to find good content for his children, but also had a background in animation. So together, the two of them, they came back up and created Ubongo as an organization that now they started creating content for children. So at first, we started up with a show called Ubongo Kids. Yeah, meaning the brain, but then with children. So Ubongo Kids focuses for kids from the age of 7 all the way to 14 years. It's all centered on African kids. The characters have African names, and they're learning according to the curriculum that is taught in most schools in the African content. But later, they also introduced Akili and Me, which is now the one of the famous shows that we have. So Akili and Me. So the word Akili also means brain.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it can also mean being smart. So basically, they are training these kids to have brain, I mean, to build their brains and also become smart. So now we have Akili and Me, and also we have Ubongo Kids. So that's how the two shows were formed, and that's how the organization came up.
I love it. I love it. So give me both founders' names again. We're gonna have to put up pictures for them. What are both founders' names again?
So we have Nisha Ligon, and also we have Hari Rashid.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, so just starting off with the reference, why was it important for them? Why was it important to create a network that expands the minds and educates our youth through animation with an African twist? Why was that important to you all?
So according to different reports that have been created, I mean, have been different studies done by the UN and UNICEF. They've showed that we have a lot of kids being born in Africa, but not all of them have access to good education and good background on education and go to good schools, being taught by good teachers. So
Mhm.
there is a need to create a way in an easy way. And what's the easiest way to access all these kids is through television and radio. Now, the penetration of television and radio in Africa is quite high. For example, here in Kenya, we have around 74% penetration of population of Kenyans have TV, or they can access television. So that was a good way of to be able to access this content for kids, to provide this content for kids. So there was that need that was created. So now they looked at the need, and then they looked for a solution on what they can do to make sure that this content is available for kids and kids can learn.
Mhm.
So apart from just doing the animation, we make sure that our content is aligned to the curriculum that is being taught in all these schools around Africa and around different countries in Africa. So
Mhm.
the difference with our content is we usually say that we create content not only for the kids but with the kids. So we use
Mhm.
a system called design, human-centered design. So we
Hmm.
start the content with the kids and end up with the kids. So before we create the content, we go to the children, ask them what are the things that they would love to learn. So we do research with the children, we do research with the schools in all these countries in Africa, and then we write a story down of what we think they want to learn. We go back to them, read to them the stories, ask them questions. Are they getting what you want them to learn from that topic? Then go back, write the scripts again, then go back to the kids, read the scripts again to them. So the process is quite long, but we make sure that this content is made with the kids for the kids. Yeah, so
Wow,
that's how.
that is awesome. So when you're going to the kids, what age group are you dealing with that interactive learning production? I mean, what age group are you talking with? Are they like
So
7, 8, 10? I mean, 12?
no, we start from the age of 3 years. So we go to
Really?
Yes, we go to kindergartens, we go to the early childhood centers where the young kids are, and we try to let them tell us what they want to learn. So
Oh
we
my
don't
God.
force them what they're supposed to learn, but what they want to learn. And that's why we have created that niche. And our kids love this content because they can relate to the content. The characters are
Mhm,
black, so they can see people who they can relate to. The characters have pleated hair, like for girls, like the way African kids pleat their hair. So basically, they relate with this content because the stories are being told by the kids, they're being written by the kids. They feel the relationship that's there with the content, and that we felt that is very, very important for them to
oh
be
my
able to.
God, yes. I mean, just when I first saw it, the music drew me in as an adult. I mean, and then the way you have Akili and her friends, Boo's baby, what's the lion and the hippo? I
Push baby,
mean,
yes,
oh my bush baby, it's just awesome. So what?
yeah,
So it says your mission was to use top quality localized edutainment to help Africa's 440 million kids learn and leverage their learning to change their lives. What have
exactly.
you seen so far in the process of fulfilling your mission?
So every year we conduct studies to kind of understand if what we are doing makes sense. We run studies to where we try to ask parents, we try to ask children to see if they are learning what we want them to learn. And
Mhm,
interestingly, is the comments have been very, very encouraging. Parents feel that their kids and can now count numbers even before going to school. They can, they have vocabulary. I was reading one comment of a parent who wrote today in Facebook today, and
mhm,
the parents said, my child is 2 years, turning 3 years. Next year, I'm thinking of taking him to school. But the type of English that this child talks, it's way on the other level. And it's thanks to Akili and me.
mhm,
So such comments clearly shows that our content has impact on these kids.
mhm,
We see
mhm.
making improvement. Through these studies, we see what parents are saying about the kids. And this shows that we are making a difference by using our content for the kids.
I Oh my God, you are. And I know that the founders and all of you who work with Mbugo um are just like overjoyed with what you're doing because you're feeling, you're seeing the results. And the awesome thing is that you made the decision because it was localized, just localized at first, but you
Yeah,
made the decision to put it out there on the World Wide Web. So now kids all over the world are connected to Akili, and that to me, I was like, Oh my God. So edutainment in partnership to transform the lives of 500 million. This is what your website means.
Yeah,
Education, edutainment, I'm sorry, and partnerships to transform the lives of 500 million kids in
yeah,
Africa. That's just in Africa. So can you talk to about your learning partners and how you all come up with this targeted goal? That was your goal to educate 500 million kids in Africa. But you've expanded to the world now. So how are you in terms of that goal? That's a hell of a goal to reach 500 million. But
yes.
how where are you all with that? I mean, numbers wise.
Um, yeah, to be honest, we've just scratched the surface. We have a long
Wow.
way to go. That target was what we are planning and what we want to achieve in the future. Our target, first of all, was by 2035, we'll be able to reach at least 40 million kids across the world and across Africa. We have now, according to the recent research that we've done, we have now reached close to 23 million kids across Africa and in the world. And it's not easy to collect this data in Africa, because accessibility to internet and so forth. So the little information that we get, maybe from the viewerships of the televisions and different stations here in Africa, and the viewership that we get from our YouTube channels and our social media and so forth, that's the number that we've collected. So we still have a long way to go. So we've partnered up with different organizations, and we are really thankful for different donations and contributions that we get from our partners, from our funders. But this has also enabled us to create more and more content and try to find ways to reach these kids in these different locations, these different areas. As I said, for instance, in Kenya, there's around 75% penetration of TV. So we still have the 25% that we've not reached. Yeah, that we
Wow.
need to continue reaching. And so we come up with different ways of distributing this content, not only using TV, but now we have started creating audios for radio. We've started working up with different video. We have the cinemas that go around villages showing people videos. So we give them a content and they're able to share and come up with data back to us. So we're looking for different ways to partner up with different organizations, different companies, and different partners to work with them. So we still have a long way to go. We've just scratched the surface, but the impact that we're seeing, that we're making all this, we're able to reach, it's
Mhm.
quite overwhelming, and we are thankful for all the partners that we're working with.
Oh my God. So it's such a holistic approach to learning. Um, what type of skills does a series teach learners when we're taken to La La Land, which is Akili's place, La La Land? What type of
Yeah.
skills can we learn? I know the numbers and the ABCs. Um, what are some other skill sets that you are targeting this early age?
So
And I'm sorry, and that's to preschoolers. That's to 2, 3, 4. What is the
yeah.
range?
So Akili and me, the killing me, the target is the kids from the age of 3 years to around 7 years. Yeah, so that's the preschoolers. In Africa, not all kids are able to go to school early enough. So some go to school very late. So it can go
Right.
even up to 8 years. Yeah.
Hmm.
So for Akili and me, they learn numbers, they learn words. But apart from that, we also teach them different qualities like humanity. Yeah, the text that talks about humanity, how to deal with people, how to live with people, how to make friendship. Because for instance, as you said, Akili and me, goes to sleep and goes to La La Land, and she meets friends. The friends teach him how to introduce herself to other people in English. Teaching English is a second language. They teach her how to say simple English words. So apart from that, now the Ubongo kids also teaches kids on STEM, science, technology,
Wow.
mathematics, and engineering,
Hmm.
which is humanity, social and emotional learning. Yeah, so it's not just the education, but we are all doing it as a whole package on how to even develop. That's why, as you see, our hashtag is building brains and building change. So we're not only
Mm.
education, but we're building their brains, to help them know how to think, also create change in their life, to create better citizens of the world. Yeah, so it's a whole package apart from education, but they're all also learning things that can help them develop their brains.
So Akili is a curious, I'm reading off the site, 4-year-old who lives with her family at the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. She has a
Exactly.
secret every night when she falls asleep. she enters the magical world of La La Land. So the
Mhm.
characters, how did you all come up with the look, the feel of Akili, of Bush Baby, of Hippo, and oh God, what's the little fox thing? What's his name?
Um, we have the tiny tembo,
Tiny Timber, yeah. So
yeah.
so I so how did you come up with the four characters and the look and the feel that you wanted for the show? I know you're
So,
not the animator, but I mean, how did they come
so
up with that?
interestingly, our company, our organization is made in an interesting way. We don't say that this is the animator, this is the creative team that's supposed to come up with everything. We work as a team.
Mm.
So whenever we want to create a character, we want to introduce a character, we sit down as a team and do research. What
Ah.
are the names that our kids can relate to? As I said, we create content for the kids with the kids. So even before we decide what names, we go back to them and ask them, will this name, do you like this name, what do you feel about this name, so all the names and all the characters you see, they're basically what the kids want to see, the things that they'll
Mm.
relate to. And that's why we didn't go for, for kids with a different skin tone, but went into kids like with the skin tone that our kids in Africa can relate to. Yeah. Even the way they braid their hair, the way they put their hair, that's how kids are in Africa. So these are the
Mhm.
people that they can relate to. So even these characters, before we create them, we go to the kids and ask them what they would like to hear, what they like to see. Sorry,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they select what they feel that this will relate to them. So yeah, so Akili was before we decided to go with Akili. We did research. We looked for names that are catchy, African names, Swahili names. Akili is a Swahili name, so these are names that this kid can relate to. They feel, yeah, this is like a kid somewhere in La La Land. They feel this Kokotoa village is a village that they can picture up because it's a name they relate to. Yeah, so that's how we came up with. Then for the animal characters, we went for animals that these kids are used to hearing. So there's so many storybooks written, and and books for kids written around Africa. Stories about animals, with the accessibility of safari. They hear stories about Simba, the lion. Tembo is a Swahili word for elephant. Bush baby it's an animal in the forest.
Hmm.
And most of these kids, because they live near the forest, they can hear bush baby, making noises at night, and they're told, oh, that's a bush baby. So these are names that they've been hearing every day as they grow up. So it's something that they can relate. Yeah, they hear tembo. Tembo, it's an elephant. We hear
Mhm.
the elephants in the forest near us. Yeah, ndege is a Swahili word for bird, and it's one of the biggest character, the one behind me here. For ndege, then we call her mama ndege because mama is a Swahili
Ndege.
word. So Mama Ndege is like a big bird that's like a mother, of all the animals. So these are words and characters and names that these kids grow up hearing, either reading from the parents reading for them from the books they get around with the stories about safaris in Africa, or
Mhm.
the words that they hear their parents telling them stories over and over again as they grow up. So the things that they can relate to them.
Oh, awesome. And I love the way you all cut in. You have the cartoon, you have the animation, but then you cut in real life, like a child with her mother, or or doing something, getting a hair braid or something. But I love the way you cut in the real, what's going on in that family, and then related to even the calling numbers, calling home. You have the little girl on the phone, knowing her,
Yeah.
learning her phone number, learning how to call her phone number. um just awesome content. You all are doing some revolutionary stuff in terms of learning and teaching our kids. um
Yes. Maybe
Go
let
ahead.
me to just put up a little bit on that. It's we found out that it's not a culture here in Africa for parents to sit down with the kids and have them do homework and teach them. That was left for school, and when they come home, they've come home from something different. But what we're also trying to build is these parents can have a relationship with the children and help the children also learn. There's so much that a teacher can do. There's so much that Akili and me content can do, but there's so much also a parent can do to help the child. So now adding those live footages is to show these parents you can sit down with the child and help the child to learn. Whenever a child comes back to you and tells you, Mama, Akili told me I can add 1 + 1 to make 2. You understand
Oh.
what they're talking about, because you're also there as a parent and participating. So also that's what we're trying to encourage the parents in Africa to be able to work together with the children and adding those footages. Now we have that segment that we've added. It's called Akili Family,
Mm.
and that segment is basically showing the parent, this is where the teacher reached. This is where Akili and me has reached in teaching a child, and this is what you as a parent you're supposed to do to help your child learn.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. And we're getting away from that. We're getting away from what you as the parent are supposed to do to help your kids learn. It's all being pushed on the schools to do it. And so
Yes.
things like morals and values and family time and all of that is kind of being brushed away. And that's
Exactly.
everywhere. That's everywhere. Kids are just being just thrown around. So and I love that it's Akili and me. So it's
Yes.
like it's me. It's like you are first person. Me. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. That is just so it's just so important. So just in terms of the creators, they're your team. I read a lot of credits. So there's a lot of folks working on Akili and me.
Yeah.
How many folks are putting this together, and what is the outtake? I mean, like how long does it take to produce so your series are they like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes
Yeah.
episodes pretty
5
much?
to 6 minutes. Yes. Yes. 25
So
to 6
how
minutes.
oh, it's 5 or 6 minutes? Whenever
25, between
or
25 and 26 minutes.
okay, I was gonna say because it seemed like longer. Okay, so how long does it take to put together an episode in terms of from start to finish, and how often are you all creating new content to put out there? Because you have a lot of content.
Yes. So it pulls in different departments. So we've been made into different departments. So the first department we have is a pre-production department. So they're the ones who go and do research, go and find out what kids want to learn. So pre-production department is made up of writers. It's made up of writers, education specialists, children psychologists. So these all put up their heads together, find out the information, create scripts, write. And when they bring them back to the team, as the team will sit down, we read through these scripts, enact them, and then it goes into studio for recording. So we start recording the audios. Whereas at the other side, we have now the storyboard writers. They start drawing the storyboards, creating the
Illustrators.
storyboard.
Mhm.
Yes, illustrators, and then goes into animation. At this time also we've started creating the audio. So these are brought together, the music and everything. They're brought together, merged together. Then we take it back to we take it to back to the pre-production people. Tell them now go and test with the kids and see what they say about this. So they go test. After that, if it's all complete, it comes now to the post-production. Now the people who create the footages, the Akili family, the live footages, and so forth. Then it's all combined, and then it's now taken to now the broadcast people who will be taking it to the broadcasters, the TV stations. That's when our digital team comes in. They put it up on YouTube. Now we have a marketing team, that will try to educate people of the content that we have. Make sure that people can access this content. So it's a whole bunch of team. We are around more than 100 employee. People who work in this organization. For how long does it take? We try and create two shows every year. So we have Bongo Kids that has 13 episodes. So
Mhm.
we create a whole season of Bongo Kids per year. And then you have
Mhm.
Akili and Me that has 26 episodes. That's also a whole season. So we have these two
Okay.
seasons of 26 episodes and 13 episodes, and each one of them is 26 minutes. So we create that at least in one whole year. So we'll give or take 2 episodes per month, of one for Akili and Me and one for Ubongo Kids. It goes out.
But kids like repetition. And so I swear I've seen the same things over and over and over again. And it is great because it really gets them learning and singing and dancing the songs. So you
Yes.
can create those 26 episodes, but they last you over and over again because kids will watch it over and over and over again until
True.
they're picking up and singing and dancing the songs. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So it really feels like you have a machine going, just a communal machine going, and the way you all have formulated and really continue to produce. Um, so we started with those two founders. What year was this?
So this was close to should have been 10 years ago, so around 2002 when they started working on this in Tanzania. Um, not 10 years, that's 20 years ago, yeah.
It's
When
been
they started,
20 years?
yeah, at 20, between 12 to 15 years, I would say, when they started working
Oh,
on this
wow.
as a project.
Hmm.
But started airing, they started around 2012 in Tanzania, and
Airing, okay.
around 2018 they came to Kenya as the second country that they ventured in, and then we moved into Uganda, another country, and now we are in we have presence in around 34 countries in Africa.
So
Yeah.
you have different offices in these different countries.
Yes, so around 12 countries that we have complete presence, but these 12 countries they take care of the other countries around them. Yeah, so for instance, for Kenya, we take care of South Sudan, Ethiopia, and so forth and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, because initially when I was trying to find Akili and me, I got confused with Akili Network, which was also, well, that was in Kenya. They,
Yes,
they
that's
had
it.
they had the same. So I was like, I had to go around the Ballberry bush to find you all, Umbango. And then
Yeah,
I noticed there was some office. There was an office in New York, I think I saw, or was
yeah.
that
In
the
Texas,
Akili?
we,
Yeah,
we
I
have an
mean,
office in Texas. So the main purpose of that office is basically, to help look for funding in the US, and also it's easier for us to do, because of the systems that are already created in the US, for not for profit companies. So it's easier for us to do process there, and then we now spread that whatever we gain from there into the other countries in Africa.
mm. So, just in terms of the team and that you've built, the 100 or so employees, is there
Mhm.
an ongoing training mechanism for other animators to continually come onto the fold to put toward the creation, the creating, creative, the illustrators, the animators? Is there an ongoing training mechanism that brings folks in to keep it on
Yes.
growing?
Yes, yes. We also provide internship opportunities for different young animators coming up. We were working with different animation organization and companies and schools in South Africa and Kenya,
Hmm.
and we are trying to help them also because we've learned a lot over the period. We are moving from the Adobe animation softwares into Toon Boom. Yeah, we've learned a lot all the way, and we're developing all these knowledge. So we are sharing this knowledge with other animators. We participate in different trainings across Africa. We have plans also of trying to help other production companies and animation companies in Africa to be able to create content. Yeah, so we're not only doing this for ourselves, but we're trying to create other networks and other companies that people can work on the same. Reaching the 500 million kids, we cannot do that alone. We need to help and pull in all the resources and strength and energies that we can get. So we are not working ourselves, but we're creating opportunities for other animators, upcoming animators. Some that started that, some have left and started their own companies. So we support them still to continue building up on this content, working with different colleges and animation colleges and universities to help and create this content for all the kids. So yes, we have opportunities for even internship through our website. You can apply for internship if you want to, and you can get an internship and work with us.
Well, one of the great things about the whole internet and just the way we've evolved with technology
Yeah.
is that you don't have to be in Tanzania to be an animator. You don't have to be in Uganda or Cameroon or France or whatever. You can do your animation and work with you anywhere. Um,
Yes.
and that's the beauty of where the way we've expanded.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Even our team is spread across different countries in Africa. So long as you have access to computer
yeah.
and internet, you can always work with us. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. How has the response been? Because you started, the stats you've built was 41 countries, 2.6 million households, 12% learning outcomes. So accessibility is now expanded, like I said, with the use of smartphones and internet, and you all can reach learners with 9 languages. You're doing
Yes.
this in 9 languages: Kiswahili, English, French, Hausa, Yoruba, and some other languages. So, I mean, wow. I'm just like, what you all have done. No, because people don't think Africa when they think animation. They don't think Africa when they think this massive company that you've built, Umbango. So, forget Hollywood. We got Umbongo. We got Umbongo Network. We got Umbongo TV that is doing massive change in terms of
Yeah.
learning. Yeah. I mean,
So
what do you feel about that? That's just awesome.
very awesome. Actually, now we've just launched three other languages, so we are now in 12 languages, not only the nine languages. So what we learned is these kids, we don't want to force them to just learn through English. We also want to teach English as a second language, because
Mm,
English now is an international language. You need English to communicate to everyone in the world. Yeah. So
mhm,
we're using the language that they know and teaching them English. So it's starting from the point of what they know to what they don't know. Yeah, and that's why we have those languages. For instance, in Kenya, we have two dominant languages, Kikuyu and Luo, and we have our
mhm,
content now in those languages, and kids
mhm,
can learn from Kikuyu and Luo. But also the other thing that we found interesting is parents who live abroad, live in the US and other countries, and they still want their kids to learn
Swahili or yeah.
or the local languages. They use the content to teach their kids that language. They still want their kids to learn a bit about the culture in Africa or culture in their country. They use Akili and me to teach their kids. Yeah, so it's all benefiting everyone. So the
Mhm.
12 languages are not only benefiting kids and parents in Africa, but also kids and parents in abroad in other countries, yeah,
Mm. So, how
outside
can
Africa.
parents and children and educators how can they reach you across the World Wide Web? I know you're on YouTube. Are you on any other places? Are you on YouTube Kids? And what other areas are you, platforms are you on?
So we're in YouTube Kids. Through YouTube, you just search for Ubongo or search for Akili and Me. You can access us through our website on www.akiliandme.com or www.ubongokids.com. Or you can also go to our corporate website, www.ubongo.org, and you can find content there. So we've also introduced a way that parents can download our content for free. So we have a toolkits.ubongo
Oh, no, that's
dot
wrong. Oh, no, go ahead. I was putting it up, but I got to redo it because I got spelled it wrong. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to take that
yeah,
off.
toolkits.ubongo.org. You can go there and you can choose what content you want to download in different languages, from books, videos, audios, and different animations. You can also reach us on under the Google. We are on Google platform, the Google Play Store. So we have applications that we've created, so you can download applications, and the kid can read and learn different languages. You can find us also on the iStore. Yeah, you can download applications that we've created for the iStore. We've now started also creating music. So we've seen that we've created a lot of music. So we have like 3 albums now out of different kids songs and kid rhymes, nursery rhymes, and you can find them on Spotify under Akili and Me. You can just cite on Spotify or even on iTunes. So there you'll find
Wow.
all the things that you want to download. Yeah. So we're all over. Just Google Akili and Me, Ubongo Kids, and you'll see the different avenues and places that you can find our content.
So you also have product lines now. You've developed. Can you talk about the product lines and where people can get those as well? Because now you can have an Akila and Me birthday party. It doesn't need to be a Superman or Batman birthday party. You can have an
Yes.
Akili and Me birthday party, and talk about the product lines that you all created and where you can get access to those.
So if you go to our website, you can find our store, or you can go to Akili and Me on my Shopify, my Shopify.com, and you can get t-shirts for your child. You can get books. You can get different merchandise. So we have our line. You can order for your child, shoes, with the key logos, with our characters, t-shirts like this one, with the
Mhm.
characters up there, and your child can enjoy all this. Now, if you go to Spotify, as I said, you can have the songs, the nursery rhymes. You can download that on iTunes. The same, just search for Akili and Me. You'll get the music, the nursery rhymes. They're all available there, and also now YouTube. So we're trying as much as possible to not only build the content, but also create a community where we like a whole one big family where you can have all this. We've seen also parents now, they can order, they create cakes, for their kids' birthdays, with all these little characters on the cake. And it's really awesome. So it's a whole community, and you can get all these through the internet here.
Yeah, I mean, to have an Akili Me birthday party and you can add the songs to it. That's awesome. So, is there
Yeah.
anything else I missed about Akili Me that any upcoming adventures or shows that you want to talk about in the works? We want
Mm,
to see an Akili and Me movie on the big screen somewhere. So, that's something to move towards. That's something we're looking
yes,
towards.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what we are looking to, and very soon we'll be announcing through our social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you can download from. I mean, you'll see the locations that we're planning to do a whole tour in the US, and
Mhm.
people can come and visit and see. We have all that information is being prepared, and we'll be sharing that in due time when
So,
the
oh,
plans.
wait a minute. So, you're talking like an Akili and Me on stage type of thing? Is that something you're moving towards in the future?
Yes, it's kind of. So we started up in Africa. We're doing a bit of that roadshow. Actually, from next month here in Kenya, we'll be doing, so we have all these mascots, and these kids can
Yes.
come play with them. So we're starting in Africa, here in Kenya. We'll be extending in other countries in Africa and also in the US. So if you follow up us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, search for Ubongo Kids or Akili and Me, and we'll be sharing all these dates and the plans that we have in the near future.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. Because I see things that come here like a Bob the Builder on me on stage and all that stuff. I'm like, I know Keely will work. I know it will
Yeah.
work on stage
Yeah.
here.
Those
Oh, that is
plans.
exciting. That is exciting. Well, I am just so happy that you could join us. I mean, when I wanted to do this education with heart and soul, I had to have Akili and me. I was gonna wait for y'all so we could make sure we had you on SABIFF 2022 Animation in Black. But thank you so much. I wish you much more success. Keep the revolution going, change and build and develop the minds of our kids in such a positive way. I
Thank you.
wish you all the best. Go ahead. You want to say something else before we head out?
Yeah, so I want to say just thank you so much. This is a good opportunity to be able to, create that interactions with the parents, especially in the US, in San Antonio. And
Mhm.
we are very, very thankful to SABF and choosing us and giving us this opportunity to talk about organization, talk about the beautiful content that we are creating,
Mhm.
and the work that we are doing to help kids in Africa, in the US, and all over the world for them to be able to learn and access good education. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, thank you. I mean, for me, it's important for people, especially of African heritage, to connect our cultures, to connect what we're doing that's positive to advance our kids, especially in things like animation. Because
Yeah.
animation is it's an imaginary world, but it's a world that has a lot of power that you can build power in animation. And what you
Yes.
all are doing is powerful, it's impactful. So and we just want to see much more and grow it to the gazillions. You're in the millions now. This is gazillions.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh God, thank you so much, and you all take care. We look forward to just keeping in touch and what you're doing. All right,
Thank you very much. Thank
thank
you,
you.
Ada.
Bye
Awesome.
bye.